Some trails are about the challenge. Some are about the views. But every now and then, you find one that leads to a piece of forgotten history. And something so out of place, you swear it was a dream. So we are exploring a little bit north of St. George today. We are going to the Browse Guard Station. And so according to the trail maps, this is about a 3 out of 10. It's available on Onyx as a trail. Apparently the last guy who did it was in a Jeep, so...
Not 40s.
Probably, I don't know. But a 3 on Onyx, I guess, means the rocks are less than 12 inches in size. So we're going to see if that holds true, and we're going to hopefully get to this historic guard station. It's supposed to be pretty neat, and it's pretty significant for the area, and we'll share all those details with you here in a little bit. Our adventure started up heading up Forest Service Road 037, better known as the trail to the Browse Guard Station, near Laverkin, Utah. This route is a 7.6 mile out and back trail, nothing extreme, but don't let the mild rating fool you. It can be a narrow trail, but it's a scenic drive that slowly climbs into the hills of Dixie National Forest. And trust me, this trail will make you forget that you're just minutes away from the famous interstate down below. The first half of the trail is really no problem. It's a wide gravel road, and it's really wide enough for several vehicles. And to a certain point about halfway, it's easily doable in passenger cars. But this part changes once you hit the seasonal Forest Service gate, which is open from April 30th through November 1st, depending on weather. And at that point, the road does tend to get a little bit rougher. The part of the trail here narrows to a single lane dirt road and has some rocks here and there with some ruts and of course the famous shelf road section. This terrain is not technical, but if you are in a lower clearance vehicle, it does demand your attention. Now this part of the trail does have that shelf road as mentioned before, and it isn't too shelf roady if you've gone to other places like we have. But if you're new to shelf roads, it will get your blood a little bit pumping just because it is narrow and it feels like it drops pretty far. But if this is your first time, just keep your attention on the road, proper tire placement, and you'll be just fine. From here, the trail twists through tight canyon walls and alpine valleys, alternating between forest shade and sun-blasted ridges, which really contrasts the green forest from the red dirt. Your cell signal also in this area will be dropping as you get higher and higher, so keep in mind that when you're in this area, to remember where your last cell signal was should you get into any trouble. And before you know it, you'll reach the end of the trail, which is marked pretty easily by this beautiful old Browse Guard Station. So we have made it to the guard station, and it was a super easy drive. Like, the flowers were gorgeous. We saw flowers in every color on the way up here. I don't know if the GoPro showed it as well as it was in real life. But if you are into wildflowers, that drive is beautiful and gorgeous, and it's nothing like you would think would be in southern Utah. Highly recommend just coming up here for that alone. But we have made it to the guard station here, and so we're gonna look at the sign, read a little bit about it, and then share those details. The Browse Guard Station was originally built by the Civilian Conservation Corps back in 1934. It was originally part of a research project to test browse plants, which is really shrubs that were meant to feed wildlife and livestock. This site pretty much became a living laboratory for decades. Researchers experimented with native and non-native plants here, something we probably wouldn't be doing today. And one of them was Dr. Walter P. Cottom. and he planted the most famous of all, this amazing sequoia tree. This tree is over 90 years old, and it was grown by seed and apparently did really well here. It has a circumference of over 11 feet and is said to be over 108 feet tall. So I would say this experiment was successful since it was planted as an experiment. It was to see if California's iconic redwoods could survive here, and apparently, spoiler alert, they can. In 2002, the sequoia fire swept through this canyon. Everything around the guard station burned. Everything except the station and this tree. But why was that? Well, because the brush had been cleared just the year before as a little preservation of the area. And by doing so, they ended up saving this section of the forest. And sadly, after the fire came through, storms rolled in, and of course, what happens? Mudslides. And that took out the original woodshed. But the station still stands, and so does the tree. Sometimes you need to do a trail like this. It may not be difficult, but it has some really rewarding history at the end of it. A hidden cabin, a tree that wasn't meant to be here, and a trail that shows history at every bend and amazing views. If you like stories and adventures like this, please hit the like button, subscribe, and follow us for more adventures here soon. But bye for now.